In 1994, Rwanda experienced a horror genocide against the Tutsi. 30 years later, we see a significant shift from this past dark history. Be it in economics, infrastructure, the social setup of the public, name it. Different people come to benchmark, undertake studies to see what exactly Rwanda has done right to make this shift from the past. Recently, 30 students from the Harvard University in the USA had a special visit to the country, and I caught up with some of them and they shared their views. Let's take a look. This is The Perspective.
My name is Scala Chioma Evero. I am born in the US, but I'm also Nigerian by blood.
My name is Brandon Tran. I'm from the US. I'm a first-generation Asian American.
My name is Montserrat. I am from Mexico.
My name is Yu Chen, but I go by Rain, and I'm originally from Beijing, China.
My name is Tunde Wei. I'm a Nigerian. I'm a fellow at Graduate School of Design at Harvard.
My name is Jordan Thomas. I'm a fourth-year student at Yale Law School and Harvard Business School, studying in a JD MBA dual degree program. And we're here as part of the Harvard Africa Caucus that's based in the Harvard Kennedy School of Policy, but it pulls from across the university's various graduate programs. And we've been here for a 7-day trip to Rwanda, studying the history and the culture, the political landscape, and all of the wonderful culinary experiences of Kigali, specifically, but also Rwanda more generally. And it's just been a wonderful experience. As a student of law and business, I think that there's a lot to learn from Rwanda. And so I was keenly interested in studying those economic and governance structures, institutional structures from a legal standpoint as well. But really, it's been everything that Kigali has to offer and Rwanda has to offer that's made this such a wonderful experience.
I wanted to come to Rwanda because I have never been to Central Africa. And people had told me it was a good place to start.
Kind of decided randomly. I asked my friends, like, what is everyone doing during spring break? This is our week off of school. And I was just trying to find an activity where I can go and explore and see a new place. And my good friend Victoria, who's also on this trip, said that she was going to Rwanda. And I was like, how? How do I get on this trip? Where do I find the next person who can let me join? And she gave me a contact, and thank God I'm here. And they allowed me to join a bit last minute. So I really wanted to experience a new place. And I've never been to East Africa. I've actually only been to Nigeria, Ghana, and Morocco quickly in Africa. So this is another part of the continent that I get to explore. So I was so excited to join.
When I saw that the African Caucus at the Kennedy School was advertising this trek, I thought it'd be a good opportunity to visit any country, but especially Rwanda, in sort of an organized manner, so that I get to have a lot of in-depth conversation about the country and get to really learn the culture from local experts. And that's why I chose to come. And I also have friends who are coming onto this trip, and I heard really great things about the tourism sector, so I wanted to check it out for myself.
To be very honest, I knew very little about Rwanda. And what I knew, I had heard about the very ambitious goals and the improvement that the country had made after the genocide of 1994. So I wanted to experience it and see what was going on with this transformation in the country. Plus, I am a huge fan of nature and hikes and adventure. And one of my bucket list things was seeing gorillas and doing a safari, because I had never done that in my life. So that was also part of it.
The week that we've been here, really impressed by the development, by the social contract between the government and the people here. That really seems to make the Rwanda a really, I'd say, the model in the region right now.
Day one, very first event of the morning for us, our very first experience on this trip was to go to the Kigali Genocide Memorial. And I was so struck by how careful the memorial was in walking you through 4 distinct phases of the history. So they walked you through the pre-colonial period, the colonial period, the very close surrounding events in the 1990s to 1994, and then finally they conclude with post-1994 and the future of Rwanda. And to have this, I think, very well-known event just worldwide be told in such a complex and personal and moving way, to me was absolutely incredible, because I think that in the US it's almost like you get parachuted into 1994 and this thing happened and it was so devastating and it caused great amount of grief and tragedy and loss. And the reality is that 1994 didn't just happen. You need to understand what happened before. You need to understand how Rwanda has focused on a regeneration and a rebuilding and a healing and a development since then in such powerful ways.
I am thoroughly impressed by the bold vision that the country has set forth and how it's really specifically focused on 2 sectors, specifically towards tourism and tech, that really sort of wants to make it the Singapore of Africa, which I thought was a very interesting phrase to hear. So Africa as a region, don't know much about it, but Rwanda, I was able to get a sense of how it could look like in the future, especially how proactive the government is, and also see the development of Kigali itself is unbelievable.
So the beauty that I'm sort of experiencing, that I'm enjoying here, is a beauty that I'm familiar with. It's a sort of like design that I grew up on. It's a sensibility that is not foreign to me.
To many ministries, we've seen the Department of Justice, and they're always welcoming and open in their approach to the work. They're saying, well, if you have an idea, if you have something you think you could share with us, we're open to hearing what you have to say. Like, this is a country where I feel anyone can come and they can feel at home. They welcome you as if you're one of your Rwandese the second you step on the land, which is beautiful.
Just in the country, I have heard Rwanda was safe and that Kigali was the safest capital in Africa. But you know, people say that. I wanted to see, like, really, like, let's go and check it out. This sense of community. I see a lot of people in the streets helping each other. And yesterday I saw that they were gonna have a wedding, and I saw a lot of people dressed and with the women carrying the baskets on their heads. And I just love seeing societies where there's such social interaction and there's, like, you can see a community, because I believe that's the future of moving away from an individualistic society that only thinks for itself. And you could see also, even in the conversations about the government, how everything, it's like community, unity, the Rwanda people. And I've just loved that.
Developing countries can learn from Rwanda. Yeah, that's a really interesting question, but I think one of my biggest takeaway is you really need a unified vision that invites different government buy-ins, so that each government agency can think about how they can contribute to that end goal from their unique sort of functionalities and what they do in a day-to-day interaction. So for example, when we visited the Ministry of Justice, the minister was telling us how important the rule of law is. And I think that's important, obviously, for the society as a whole, but also in thinking of other goals, such as attracting foreign direct investment. You know, foreign investors want to make sure that the country that they're investing in is safe and can enforce contracts. So from that perspective, rule of law is also very important. So for example, when we were talking with the Ministry of Education, they talked about the importance of training the next generation of people with both knowledge and skill. And I think that also speaks to human capital development that ties in with general economic development.